I've heard a lot of people discussing this, but I thought I'd throw my own 2 cents in. The discussion about those people who weaponize therapy talk and therapy terminology. I think sometimes they do it by accident. They have good intentions. However, their good intentions are useless. They'll say things like, Andy, you have an anxious, avoidant love style, and your love language is hugs. And that's why you want hugs. But because you're anxious, avoidant, you run away from me whenever I'm trying to talk about my feelings. And the therapist said that we ought to discuss our feelings more often. And you should not run away from me when I'm discussing my feelings. And I am an anxious love style. You are avoidant and I am anxious. So you're running away from me. And it's making me even more anxious because I am the anxious attachment style. And you are the avoidant attachment style. Therefore, don't you run away from me, Andy. I'm trying to tell you that I love you. I love you a lot. We are best friends, in fact. And I love you a lot. And I'm crying because you decided to leave the apartment at 2 a.m. to hang out with a man that you met on Tinder. And that's why I'm crying. But I love you. And I'm an anxious attachment style. And you are making me jealous and insecure when you leave the apartment at 2 a.m. to hang out with a man you've never even met before. Aren't I good enough for you, Andy? Why are you leaving me to go talk to a stranger? We've known each other since college. And aren't we best friends? They'll say something like that. And I'll say, yeah, we've known each other since college. We met at the LGBT club. However, just because we're best friends and roommates, that doesn't mean you're my wife. I asked you to marry me and you said no. And I asked you if I'm allowed to get on the dating apps and you said yes. I even asked you, can I hold your hand? And you said no. I get it. One of my exes, right before I left, they gave me this whole speech about how they want to be special. They want to marry someone who is loyal. We were arguing about polyamory. Of course we were. But the thing is, my ex, they wanted to be asexual. It's not as if I had marital privileges. They wanted to be asexual. And they also wanted me to be asexual. And I said, Jamie, do whatever you want with your life. I'm not judging you. I love you. And I'll give you a hug whenever you want a hug. I'll lay down next to you and cuddle whenever you want to cuddle. And if it's New Year's Eve and you decide that you want a kiss, I'll even give you a kiss. But I'm not asexual. And it doesn't matter if it's 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. You react as if I just strangled a dog in front of you. They gave me a lecture this one time. It was right after I had broken up with my high school sweetheart. He had finally moved out of the apartment we were living in together. We spent 3 months awkwardly living together after we broke up because I didn't want him to be homeless. I gave him time to find a new place to live. But he was finally gone. And I was on the dating apps for the first time. I was 21. And I was, shall we say, entertaining 3 different men. One of them was the same age as me. One of them was younger than me. And one of them was a year older than me. And you know what? I remember them fondly. All 3 of them. They were great. At the time, I had just broken up with my high school sweetheart. I had been with him for 4.5 years. I lost my virginity to him. I had never been with anyone but him. When he finally moved out, I got on the dating apps. And I decided, you know what? I'm solo poly. I am polyamorous. And I told the 3 men that I met on the dating app, I told all 3 of them that I am single and ready to mingle. And I'm not looking for a boyfriend. I'm not going to be loyal. I told them. And they said, sweet. They said, bet. And my neighbor, Jamie, moved into the apartment right next door to the apartment I was living in with my boyfriend. Right after I moved into that apartment with my boyfriend, sophomore year of college, right after we moved in together, Jamie moved in to the apartment right next door to us with their brother. I met Jamie at the LGBT club. Hey, this is my friend Jamie. And hey, Jamie, this is my boyfriend, Eric. Would you be nice to each other? I don't want a repeat of what happened in high school with my ex-best friend. Let's just say my ex-best friend was not good at sharing me with my boyfriend. And I told Jamie, this is my boyfriend from high school. And now he's living with me. Be nice to him. I'm not going to put up with any catty behavior. And the reason I wanted to be sure that they were nice to each other is because before my ex-best friend left, I was living with her for freshman year of college. I was living with her. And she decided to move back to our hometown for sophomore year of college because she missed her parents. Right before she moved back to our hometown, I introduced her to Jamie. Hey, this is my best friend from high school. And this is my new friend that I met at the LGBT club. I just wanted the 2 of you to say hello to each other. Let's have a slumber party and watch some movies. And yeah, we can even make some pizza from scratch. It'll be fun. That's what I said. But the 2 of them were like feral alley cats growling at each other. And there was even an incident with the spaghetti sauce. Let's just say the sauce got spilled. And afterwards, I may be autistic, but I'm not blind. Afterwards, I talked to both of them separately. You're standing in this corner and you're standing in that corner. What is going on here, young lady? You may be taller than me. I'm 4'10" and a half, and you are 5'8". You are tall, but you're also younger than me, huh? I was born in December, and you were born in May. I have seniority. I'm older than you, huh? Just because I'm shorter than you? You want to treat me like a little girl? And you want to get in fights with my new friend Jamie that I met at the LGBT club? Jamie is a year older than me, and a year and a half older than you. Why are you being so rude to your elders, huh? And my ex-best friend told me that it hurt their feelings that I was spending all this time with my new friend that I met at the LGBT club. She said, "It feels like you're replacing me, Andy. It feels like I'm getting replaced." And I thought to myself, yeah, you just decided to move back to our hometown. You're on your way out the door. Pardon me, I wanted to introduce you to my new best friend because we still have 2 weeks left before you pack your bags and move back to our hometown. Excuse me for finding a new best friend, but the new one told me I'm bisexual. And I said, I'm also bisexual. And you said, I'm totally straight. It's totally normal to admire the cheerleaders. I'm totally straight, and I'm Catholic, and I'm super Catholic, and I'm super straight, and we're just best friends. And sure, whenever you walk by, I can't resist slapping you on the butt. But I'm straight, and everyone admires the cheerleaders, and everyone enjoys the lesbian, corn. It's normal. I'm normal, and I'm Catholic. That's what she said. She's not in the closet anymore. She came out of the closet years later. And when she did, I gave her a real theatrical gasp. Like, wow, you were secretly bisexual this whole time? I had no idea. Anyway, the two of them were fighting like cats and dogs. I only introduced them to each other. I think they met each other 2 or 3 times. Because there was this other time, she was visiting my college town. I won't say why, but she was visiting my college town, and she needed a place to sleep while she was in town. I was living with my boyfriend, and my best friend from the LGBT club was living right next door to us with her brother, with their brother. And my ex-best friend from high school is in town and needs a place to sleep, so we roll out the futon. Actually, I think I invited Jamie over, and Jamie declined. And after Jamie said, I can't stand her. Is she gone yet? And I said, yeah, she's already driving back to Laredo. Would you calm down? Why do you hate her so much? You barely even know her. You've met her twice. Why do you hate her so much, huh? And then Jamie said, well, she's your high school best friend. She's your best friend from high school. And the way you talk about her, I get jealous. Because I'm just your college best friend that you wish was her. And I said, whoa, there's a lot to unpack there. Do we need to sit down for some therapy? I never expected you to, best friend is just a word. It's not like it's a formal title. I'm living with my boyfriend, and you're living with your brother. But we're neighbors, and we're in the LGBT club together. And we went to the equality ball together, didn't we? I didn't go with my boyfriend. He didn't want to go. He doesn't like dancing. He's not like you. I liked dancing with you. And he got mad at me when he found out that I watched Stranger Things with you instead of him. And I told him, well, I prefer to watch TV shows with Jamie because Jamie does not shush me while we're watching the show. Jamie is a cinephile. And you give me all these fun facts about the actors and about, movie magic. And then the both of us critique the writing with our literary analysis. You're so much smarter than my boyfriend. I really, the thing is, at the time, Jamie had already announced that they wanted to be asexual. I was very disappointed, but I said, okay, yeah, you're not bisexual anymore. From now on, you're asexual. I get it. And you know what? I'm living with my boyfriend, so it doesn't matter. I still love you. Obviously, I still love you. And we're best friends. And we're neighbors, because conveniently, you moved in right next door to me and my boyfriend. It was college. I spent a lot of time with Jamie at the LGBT club, and then just going over to the apartment that they were living in with their brother. My boyfriend's being irritating. He's playing video games with his friends. Can I come over to your place and we'll watch whatever you want to watch. Let's watch TV together while my boyfriend is playing video games with his friends at our apartment. Jamie, at the time, was, you know what? That's not my story to tell. But the thing is, Jamie really, really hated my high school best friend with a passion. Jamie directed more animosity towards my high school best friend than they ever did towards my boyfriend. And I said, why do you hate her so much? You don't even know her. Jamie said the reason that they hated my high school best friend so much was because they felt as if they were competing with my high school best friend for the title of best friend. And I said, what? ¿Qué? What? Beg pardon? She doesn't even live here. She lives in Laredo, and we are in Edinburgh, Texas. Just because I let her sleep over at my apartment, you're gonna have an existential crisis over whether or not you are my best friend or she is my best friend. The both of you are my best friend. Would you calm down? It's not like I can only have one best friend. What is wrong with you? And then we had a really long conversation about feelings. My ex-boyfriend, my high school sweetheart, he did not like to talk about his feelings. And sometimes I got irritated by the fact that he did not like to talk about his feelings. But sometimes, when I was arguing with one of my girls, I would think to myself, is this how he used to feel when I would yell at him? Is this what it felt like to be the man in the relationship? And your girl is yelling at you about her feelings, and you're just standing there like, what does she want from me? I'm sorry I hurt your feelings when I went to the roller skating rink with the LGBT club. I didn't know you wanted to go, Claudia. I went with Jamie and Cecilia because they told me they wanted to go. If you also wanted to go, you should have said so. Why are all these women constantly crying as if I'm their boyfriend who just left them for another woman? I'm not your boyfriend, princess. Do I look like your boyfriend? I wanted to be your boyfriend and you said no. So why are you crying, huh? All these women. Most of the time, it is later revealed that they were secretly bisexual all along. And then I pretend to be shocked. Wow, you were secretly bisexual all along? I could not tell. All of y'all are the same. You want to be best friends? We're not in college anymore. This is not college. We're not at the university. You still want to be best friends? Some of them are married and they still want to be best friends. I don't think so. But you know what? While I'm at it, I was talking about the toxic therapy language. Right before I left one of my best friends, I was getting into a lot of discussions with her about her feelings, and also about her boyfriend's feelings, and also about her boyfriend's roommate's feelings, because her boyfriend's roommate was a little fruity. I don't know if he was still in the closet, but let's just say he was metrosexual. And he had a girlfriend, and his roommates were not happy about his girlfriend. And it was these three men living together, and my best friend would visit them. She had a key to their apartment, and she would show up like motherfucking Snow White, visiting the dwarves with a broom. She would clean their apartment for them. She would obsessively clean their apartment. And I think they were baffled by her OCD. They were like, why are you cleaning our apartment? We didn't ask you to do that. Are you all right? And she would tell me all about their apartment. And she would also, tell me about her issues with her mother and her own household. And well, the reason that I'm so obsessed with cleaning is because my mother is a hoarder. And she would tell me everything. Absolutely everything she was thinking. Absolutely everything she was feeling. And then she would tell me about all of the conversations that she had with her boyfriend. And I'm standing there and I'm wondering, what can I contribute to this conversation? I don't want to tell her about Carlos. I was dating someone at the time. His name was Carlos. He was 10 years older than me. And he was a therapist. Professionally, he was a therapist. And I only dated him for 3 months. I got real irritated while dating him. Because say I said something rude about my father. I would say something rude about my father. And then he would come back with a really condescending, I'm sure your father loves you. He was being a therapist. It was habit. He didn't know how to turn it off. And I would think to myself, this man is really infantilizing me. I'm 10 years younger than him, so I guess he thinks I'm a little girl. But this isn't about Carlos. This is about my ex-best friend. She was really into therapy. And she was always obsessively having these deep conversations with her boyfriend and her boyfriend's roommates. Let's just say she was nosy. She was a busybody. She wanted to be a bit of a mother hen. And so she got involved in all of the drama between her boyfriend and her boyfriend's roommates. And, they were getting into fights because one of the roommates had a girlfriend that they didn't like. And he was also being salty because he was really, really, really close friends with her boyfriend. And he was also really, really, really close friends with her. It was clear to me that he was bisexual. Or you know what, maybe I'm wrong. What do I know? Maybe he's still in the closet. That's not the point. The point is, he had a girlfriend, but he was also very emotionally entangled with her and her boyfriend. And living with her boyfriend. And the third roommate, he was charming. He was lovely. I have nothing bad to say about him. He was amazing. When I met him, I thought he was real handsome. And I also thought, this guy is intelligent. He's not like the rest of these morons. He actually has a brain. I like this one. And then, let's just say I got to know him intimately. And I broke up with Carlos. I don't want Carlos anymore. That man is 10 years older than me. And it is clear to me that he is set in his ways. He doesn't really respect me. I showed him some of my fan fiction. And then afterwards I felt embarrassed. Because he must think I'm so childish to be writing fan fiction. But there's a lot of grown women in their 30s and in their 40s, who are still writing fan fiction. There's nothing wrong with writing fan fiction. She had good intentions. She was trying to be a good person. But she was being meddlesome. And she wasn't listening to the people around her. She thought that, everyone here has trauma. And everyone needs to get in touch with their feelings. And you have trauma too, Andy, because of your mother. It's obvious to me that your mother traumatized you and emotionally abused you. And yada, yada, yada. She would give me all the therapy talk. And I remember thinking to myself, not only do I have Carlos, the literal professional therapist, giving me lectures about, but then I also have my best friend, Cecilia, trying to therapize me. She's telling me that she is an anxious attachment style. And I'm an avoidant. And she thinks I'm being avoidant. She thinks I'm avoiding my feelings. And she thinks her boyfriend is avoiding his feelings. And she thinks her boyfriend's roommate is avoiding his feelings. And while she's at it, she wants to lecture her boyfriend's roommate's girlfriend. It's none of your business, Cecilia. Let's just say I lost my temper. If any of you were there, if anyone watching these videos remembers me from back then, I'm sure you remember me losing my damn mind. I did lose my damn mind. I was sleep deprived. Because I wasn't only dealing with Cecilia and all her bullshit, I was also dealing with my father and all his horseshit. And my Tio Gabi had just died. I don't think Cecilia even knew what was happening with my family. I don't think I even told her that Tio Gabi had just died. Tio Gabi worked for my father at the Adele Properties LLC. At the funeral, I did my best to behave myself. I refrained from telling any jokes. I did my best to not say anything inappropriate about religion. I sat next to my father. I gave him a hug when he wanted a hug. I did my duty to the family. And I was angry. Later, I was arguing with my mother. And I told her, I don't care. Why would I care? I couldn't stand Tio Gabi. He was always lecturing me about religion. Why would I care? I don't care. He would say things like, one day, you're gonna come to Jesus. One day, you'll learn. You won't have a choice. That's what he said. I did not get along with Tio Gabi. So when he died, I kept my mouth shut. What am I gonna say? I don't have anything nice to say about the dead man. So I won't say a damn thing. I'll keep my mouth shut, and I'll sit politely at the funeral, and I'll give my father a hug whenever he wants a hug. But when I was arguing with my mother, well, it's not her brother that died. It's her ex-husband's brother. What does she care? It's her ex-husband's brother. So I told her, I don't care. Why would I care? I hated his guts. Everyone knows. It's not as if it was a secret. I wasn't subtle. Everyone knows that I hated his guts. We would argue about religion. I would also argue about religion with Jerry. And Jerry was exactly the same as his brother. He would smirk at me, and he would say, one day, the Holy Spirit will change you. And you'll see. That's what they always say. I was angry. After the funeral, I was at my father's house. I was living there. And we were sitting across from each other at the table. The stupid glass table. I hate those glass tables. My father is obsessed with glass tables. He's always buying glass tables. He is fixated on fancy glass tables. You know why I hate them so much? They're impossible to keep clean. This stupid glass table? Why would I want a shard of glass on my table? What is the use in it, huh? What is it useful for? It's useful for gathering a bunch of dust. They're impossible to keep clean. But he doesn't have to clean the table. He has a maid. She's the one that cleans the table. And he's the one buying all these glass tables. We were sitting across from each other at the glass table. It was after the funeral. And he was telling me stories about Tio Gabi. Even when he couldn't walk, he still wanted to come into work. He had just gotten the surgery, and he could barely walk. But he said, I'll get one of those walker canes. I'll get in a wheelchair, and I can still come into work. That's what Gabe said to my father. He had diabetes. He was in a wheelchair, but he still wanted to come into work. He was younger than my father. He wasn't as good at English. When they were young men, they were in Chicago together as teenagers. And my father was better at English. He was also better at math. So he got a job at the bank. First, he worked in the factories, and he did all the manual labor. Of course he did. He was a Mexican immigrant. He did all the manual labor. But when he was older, he got a job at the bank. He was good at math. It was easy. That's what my father said. The math is so easy. And I just wanted to have a job where I could sit indoors with an air conditioner. My father loves to talk about his youth and how he was just thrilled to have a job indoors with an air conditioner. After the funeral, he said he thought he was being nice. He was just thinking about his dead brother, and he was remembering him fondly. And he was heaping praises on Gabe. He had such a good work ethic. Even when he was in the wheelchair, he still wanted to come into work. I was getting into fights with my best friend. She was no longer a Catholic, and she was no longer a straight woman. Now she was out and proud. She was bisexual. And she was obsessed with all the other women, the WLW, on TikTok. She was also obsessed with the fashion. She wanted to cut her hair like a lesbian, and she wanted to wear the clothing, the LGBT clothing. And she was really obsessed with the WLW tag on TikTok. And she would send me the videos. Look at this beautiful woman, and look at this beautiful woman, and look at this beautiful woman. She even had a girlfriend, briefly, very briefly. That woman dumped you, Cecilia. And the reason is because, let's just say my ex-best friend was very heteronormative. She sure liked the cheerleaders, but she wanted to be a princess. And she wanted her girlfriend to be Prince Charming. And her girlfriend did not like the rituals of, yeah, I'll open the door for you. Sure thing, dollface. Their relationship was very brief. And afterwards, Ceci had a boyfriend. He was a cook. He really enjoyed making the burgers during the get-togethers. He reminded me of Ceci's father, the church deacon. You sure know how to pick him. You found yourself a man who is very meek. He doesn't say a word to me. I walk up to him, and he acts as if I'm about to bite his nose off. I can't even reach his nose. He's towering over me. I'm 4'10" and a half. And he is what? 5'10"? 5'11"? He's towering over me, but he won't say a word. He is intimidated by me. She tells me when he's not in the room. When he's not in the room, she tells me what all his opinions are. Because he is too cowardly to say anything unless he's alone in a room with her. And she wants to be his spokesperson. Andy, you hurt my boyfriend's feelings again. Did I? My bad. Let's just say, after my uncle died, I was not feeling generous. I decided to throw a tantrum. I decided to pick fights with people.